Hello, eRank, and welcome to another Thursday live Q&A and a listing review with me, Pam Duffy, and herself, Starla.
Yeah, I didn't even know we were doing. I should have known that we were doing listing reviews today, but I didn't even know until I pulled it up. So
It was you that suggested it last week.
Yeah.
I totally forgot until yesterday. So yeah, we're very organized, guys.
Pam, I didn't even show you. Look at my look at my lovely eRank pillow for my background that you can't even see.
We got merch, and it's so cool that it blurred your camera.
I know, right? And why did you run away with my phone? Okay. And then on the back, this is almost a teaser for something something different that will be coming in a couple months. But this is the only part you guys can see. And no, it's not the pillow itself. It's the picture that's on the pillow. Do you see him? Do you guys see him?
Yeah,
see him?
I might know what this is.
That's all you get to see. You don't get to see any more.
That's so cute. I'll have to make you one of them as well. I can't meaning to.
An otter, yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any early questions. I will say that Cheryl had commented right before we started and said, I have many towels listed in my shop. However, if I go to Etsy, only a handful are being shown. I don't quite know what you mean by that. Only a handful are being shown in your shop, or are you searching for them? Because you're up against everybody else who's selling towels. So it's probably not that they're not being shown. It's more that you're competing in search, and only a couple are going to make it to the top of that search. Unfortunately, it's.
Yeah. And bear in mind as well, if you're searching on Etsy, the search results are personalized to what Etsy thinks you'll buy, and you're not going to buy your own items. So you might not see your own items when other people would see them. But if we're missing the point, let us know some more in the comments. While we're chatting, I do let's do the thing. I can't remember even what buttons to press. So yeah. If you guys are wanting a listing review, I have no idea what we're doing today, but if you put hashtag eRank into the chat, and then we'll start gathering your submissions there. Words. This is going to be good because I'm going to be streaming for like 2 hours today. But yeah, we'll start gathering your submissions and hopefully do some kind of a review of your shop. We don't know what we're doing yet, but.
And while those are rolling in, Lori had asked, how come if I sell more than one of the same item, it only counts as one item, but if I sell several different items in the same sale, each item is counted? We get that question a lot, and it's just kind of how Etsy categorizes things.
Yeah, it's confusing, but you've got to think. It's like having a loaf of bread. Right? So there's 3 different ways a loaf of bread can sort of be counted as sold. Slices of bread. So you might have sold 20 slices. So that would be if you had a quantity of more than one and someone bought 6 of your items, but that would still only be 1 sale and 1 order. A person might come into the shop and pick up 2 loaves of bread. The cashier is only going to ring up 1 customer, but with 2. I always muddle up sales and orders, but the cashier is only going to be ringing up 1 customer, or you could have 2 customers each buying a separate loaf of bread. So that's where sales and orders and items are all kind of different things, and Etsy counts them really confusingly, basically.
We are just as confused by it as you are, but or why Etsy does it like that, but it's always been like that, and I've always thought that it was kind of silly. Now Cheryl did come back. She said, if I do a search for towels, I look at all of the listings and they're there. Yeah, Cheryl, I mean, you're competing in search. They're not all going to be there. Typically when you first list an item on Etsy, that listing's going to move around a little bit. Etsy's going to try to figure out what that listing is based on the keywords that you have in your title and the tags that you're using and the categories that you've utilized. So that's the first clue as to what it is. Even if it says towel, Etsy still has to figure out that it's a towel and what kind of towel and what kind of person would buy this towel. And they toss that listing out into a sea of different buyers and move it all around and show it to lots of different people. And they begin studying how shoppers interact with that listing. Are they clicking on it? Are they favoriting it? Are they buying it? Are they, what are they doing with it after that? Now, if they're clicking on it and buying it, or clicking on it and favoriting it, or clicking on it and, buying it and leaving a good review on it, those are all things that tell Etsy, yes, this is a towel. Yay. We have made a correct a guess that this is a towel and we should be showing this towel to these types of customers. And, that can help that listing get shown to more people. But it's not going to happen to every single listing. Nobody has all, top ranking listings. And it's not that your listings aren't being seen. It just means that they're not at the top. And that's completely normal. Nobody's listings are all at the top. So if you've got a couple that are ranking well, which you can use our rank checker tool over at eRank to see exactly what pages they would land on before that layer of personalization is applied. That will give you a pretty good indication of what is doing well for the keywords that you're using. But definitely don't let anybody, make you feel like all of your listings need to be doing well, because most shops, and I'm sure you guys in the chat can confirm, most shops are probably going to have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 listings that do very, very well. And then there's a couple items that don't do as well. And it's kind of like, when you think of most restaurants, most restaurants have like a signature dish. They've got one dish that is their big popular thing. And then there's some things that people order a little bit less. Doesn't mean that they're less successful. It just means that they're, a little bit different.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Even the biggest shops on Etsy will have 1%, 10% of their listings do well, and the rest don't do anything. So you're probably doing everything right. The thing is to look at, if you're not having any listings show up in search, and we don't recommend that you search yourself on Etsy, you can use eRank and use the rank checker, because that checks without the personalization. Like I just said, Etsy looks and goes, is this person likely to buy this listing? No, it's their own listing, so we don't need to show them it. So if you use the rank checker, then you'll see sort of where the average person is going to see you. And if you're not showing up in the first, was it 500 listings, I think the rank checker looks at, if you're not showing up there, it could just be you're trying to get found for a too competitive keyword. So just narrow it down a little bit. You can use the eRank keyword tool to find keywords that are still relevant but have slightly lower competition. It's a balancing act. We're all experimenting all the time to see what we can rank for and what people are searching for.
Yeah. And Amy, that advice is total bungo. I know, I hear it all the time too. She wanted to know if external sales have a good impact on your Etsy SEO. They help your listing quality scores. And that tells Etsy that you're a trustworthy shop. People like what you have, whether that traffic came from Etsy search or if it came from Instagram or Pinterest. That tells Etsy, hey, people who buy this listing, they seem like they really enjoy it, or this listing's getting a lot of sales. Let's try showing it to more people. It absolutely does help. There's a lot of people who are like, don't share your Etsy links. It'll kill your conversion rates.
Yeah. Absolutely rubbish. Yep. I mean, if we all think about it, what does Etsy want? It wants to make sales. And what's the best thing? If you bring in outside people that hadn't heard of Etsy and they come and they buy and they have a great time, they've got a chance they'll come back and buy from even more people that aren't you. So why would Etsy penalize you for doing a thing that helps all of us, basically?
Yeah. It's free advertising, right? I mean,
yeah.
All right. I think that we're good to draw a name, and then, we'll answer questions kind of in between.
Cool. Let's see who it is.
Watch it pick me.
That would be too funny.
Raging Tuna.
I couldn't say anything there for a minute because I was trying to figure out how to say. See, sometimes when words are all mushed together, it's ragging. No,
That's what I
raging.
saw too. I was like, rag tuna? What? Raging tuna. Don't type in your Etsy shop link. Just give us your Etsy shop name, preferably without the spaces, and Pam will get it pulled up.
And
And
spell it very carefully because I can't spell and I will get it wrong. So.
yes. The nifty neuron. Ooh, that sounds like something I would like.
It sounds good, yep.
While Pam's getting that pulled up, Laura had asked, what do the traffic sources in eRank mean time-wise? Is it weekly / all time / daily data? The traffic sources, you mean in traffic stats? The traffic stats tool? Traffic stats should be daily, right? But feel free to let us know.
Yeah, traffic stats, you can pick the different time periods up to 15 months. It's the same even spotted on Etsy now. We can pick different time periods too.
Feel free to let us know if I misunderstood that. But did you find it?
I found it. Do you want to look at it?
Let's do. Wait, we're doing listings this time, right?
Are we doing listings? Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll pick a listing.
We're just going to pick random ones.
Let's pick a random one.
Okay.
I'll just pick the first featured one. That's about as good as my. Well, that's one that you've chose as a good one, hopefully. So, right. Here we go. And our little friend on the right-hand side, the sidekick should hopefully help us look at this a little bit better. So can everyone see that okay? Oh, I think, can I, with that, is that better? I'm not entirely sure if that's better or not. Let us know what works for you guys.
All right. There we go. I couldn't hardly see it because my screen's like tiny because I've got everything up. Okay, now I can see. All right. So it looks like you are a digital seller, flexible time blocking technique, and daily planner ready to print. Hey, I like the thumbnail right away. That looks pretty nice. Looks like you've got all 10 photos, if not close to, or maybe.
We've got a video as well, which I think, very cool, because a lot of people say, I'm digital, I can't possibly have a video. You totally can. It doesn't have to be much.
Just a little bit of motion, a little bit of wiggling.
Yep, that's good enough.
Okay, let's see. Daily time blocking planner plus guide for ADHD plus autism. Okay. Printable time management tool for executive dysfunction. This all looks great. I'm not seeing a repetition of keywords. It appears that you've been doing your homework. Let's see. And obviously you guys are going to see a lot of NA when it comes to tags. That's completely normal though, because it's very likely that I'm assuming that you're a she, knows what their tags are, because obviously your tags, they can be mixed and matched. So maybe time management is a term that does really, really well, but you've optimized it a little bit more by getting tool in there. Well, you're still going to, have time management. It's going to count that as well. Or
exactly. Yeah, this looks more like it's optimized for the mix and match, which is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing we've seen some repetition, but it's not a bad thing either.
No.
But we've got neurodivergent neurodivers. I suppose that's a term that people in that community use. But we've got time blocking, time management tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have very many critiques. Now, she did say I have trouble getting views. You also have to consider that you're in a pretty saturated industry. I dare say that I see the most searches for things like planners and planning tools around January, and as school gets, started again. With digital advertising is always a challenge. However, you could always print these out and color them yourselves, and and maybe have get your cell phone up on like a little tripod, so it's down pointing at your desk, and just show your hands maybe filling things out. There's a lot of different ways that you can advertise products like these. In terms of the keywords, if you're not seeing success with them, I mean, obviously make sure that you're giving them enough time to really break in. That's why I really love the 60 to 90 day window. But even right now, it's kind of a slow time of year. School's about to be out. Most people, I know me as a parent, I get super duper lazy during the summer too. I'm sure a lot of parents probably feel the same way, but right when my kid gets back in school, I'm going to feel motivated to also start being a little bit more organized. So it could just be the seasonality. But overall, I think that your photos are great, and I'm going to assume, can we, I know that it's not the assignment, Pam, but can we, out of curiosity, click on her actual storefront just so we can get an idea of like,
Yep.
the overall, like,
I love the banner. That is so cool.
Oh, that's so cute.
You
Yeah.
totally. I want merch. I want a little neuron like
That's so
that. That
cute.
is so cute.
No, I think that this is great, and I think that you could do a lot with platforms like TikTok and Instagram with short form video content, because hello, those are neurodivergent heaven. Oh, I'm not interested in this video anymore. Goodbye. Next video, please. I think that you could get a lot of really interesting views and target customers following you if you utilize platforms like that, not just to advertise, but to share tips. And then kind of throw in the advertising at the end, like give a list of like 5 ways to manage time on, on your Sunday, for example. Or there's so many different ways. You could even get into Chat GPT and say, hey, give me a list of 50 TikTok ideas for a TikTok account that specializes in helping people with ADHD. And then it'll generate out a big list for you, and you can just start making that content. And like I said, your face doesn't even need to be in it. You could just do your hands, like doing the dishes, fun ways to encourage yourself to do the dishes even when you don't want to. There's so many ways and so many different types of people that you can help.
Yeah, I think that is it exactly. It looks like in your listing, you are hitting all the right things to get seen by your niche. It's just, it's a very correctly, it's a niche. So what SEO is great, but it's only one step in the puzzle, and sometimes you have to get yourself out there. And I think in the communities, TikTok, that was my first thought as well. If you have, like, yes, doing the things not being on camera, but if you can be, I've seen so many fun ones just with people like acting out little skits of what problems they have with their day and how that tracker can help them. And it's, it's a funny little skit if you can do things like that. And TikTok doesn't have to be good. Look, if anyone's looked on TikTok, the videos on it are not slick. They're not wonderfully edited that do really
Ooh,
well.
and Instagram, they just announced that they're going to be pushing more content that looks less professional. So the highly edited, super duper fancy content, that's not going to be pushed as heavily as, our crappy phone videos, which is great
Yeah.
because we've all got one of these, right?
That has been my trend word for this year, was authentic. And that's it with everything. You don't have to be as slick. People want to buy from people, they want to connect with people, and they're fed up. Even I follow a lot of people that do like marketing photography and videos, and they're finding their beautiful work is not being loved because it's too good. Something
Yeah.
a bit janky with just a handheld phone is doing way better.
Yeah. All right. Do we have another secret word?
We will in a second.
Well, in the meantime, Jennifer had asked, what do the hearts mean on the rank listings? What do the hearts mean on the rank listings? You mean like, are you looking in the rank checker? Hearts are how many people have favorited your listings. So you might be just talking about our favorites column that's showing you how many favorites you've received. I'm assuming that that's probably, yes. Okay, so then that's it. It's just how many people have hearted that item. I wouldn't stress too much about that metric. It really doesn't hold a lot of significance for your listings, but it's nice to make you feel good. Just don't obsess over it.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've really looked at hearts. So many people are fussing over. They'll go like, "Oh, this person's favorited every item in my shop. Are they trying to kill my shop or something?" It's like none of it's important. It's for the person. They can go, "Oh, I like that." You know, that's it.
Let's see. Gasp! What is the side feature? Are you serious? That is our lovely extension. If you go to eRank, everybody now has it. Just go. That's our sidekick. Our new left navigation. There's one little thing that says extension in that left nav. Click extension. It's not even in a nested, within a menu. It's just right there on the list. Click extension. It'll take you to whatever, the app store. You can install it right onto your browser. Be nice. We've had a couple reviews of people who are like, it's not great yet. Well, no, we're not done with it. We're still working on it.
Well,
But
let
you
us
can use it.
know what's not nice about it.
Yeah,
It's only
exactly.
new. It's our little baby. Be kind to her and just let us know how we can improve her. But
you can use it while you're on pretty much any Etsy page. You can use it in the back end of your shop when you're, actually creating a listing. You can use it while you're shopping. You can use it on search pages. You can use it on the Etsy homepage. It's
it will be
useful.
more useful. We've all given them tons of things. Like, we want this, we want that. So there's going to be so many new things added all the time, literally.
This is a great question. Is it possible not to lose all of the data on my listing change tracker when the eRank subscription was canceled but renewed later? My stupid head forgot to renew. We save that for you. Do we save that forever, or is there an expiration?
I'm not sure. We should save it. Yeah. It should be okay. Let us know if there's any trouble, but it should be there when you come back.
Yeah.
When you upgrade again.
Right. If it's just like a month or probably 2, I'm sure it's fine. I don't know if we have a limit. I'm sure that there has to be some type of limit. I'm sure we can't keep it forever. But I haven't heard of us having a limit, so
I'm not sure.
yeah. And let's see. When you get a bestseller badge on Etsy, does it apply to all of the products in the store or to an individual? Well, it'll only apply to the one because that's the bestseller. That is the one item in your shop that Etsy, that we don't even know what the benchmarks are that they use to decide that something's a bestseller. But they have decided that that's a best-selling item, and it feels really nice to get it.
Yeah, that's it. It's just a nice pat on the back. It could look good for customers if they're searching for something and they see something that says bestseller. So at the moment in time, I'm not aware of Etsy doing anything to help you with it other than putting a badge on your listing, which might help you out. But yes, we know nothing. We don't know the criteria. We don't know how long it lasts for, how long the sales are based on, or anything about it. So it's not worth worrying about, but if you get it, enjoy it.
All right, we'll do one more question and then we'll pull a name. I want to know if reselling a stock of earrings on Etsy. Unfortunately, you can't do that if you did not make them yourself. And Etsy is cracking down hard right now on people who are selling things that they shouldn't be selling. So unless you created those earrings with your own 2 hands, or, someone in your home, or, you can't resell items on Etsy. Make sure before you, and this goes for everybody, Etsy's rules are very clear. And most of the people, I just did a big, huge campaign helping sellers who have been deactivated. A majority of the sellers who contacted me about getting their shops, reinstated after being deactivated, most of them were breaking rules. And a lot of those rules were reselling. It's not the marketplace for it. There's plenty of other marketplaces for, get on Mercari or, get on Amazon or get on eBay. But if your products don't fall into Etsy's house rules and their seller handbook, then you can't sell them. And not only do you get banned from selling on Etsy, you get banned from shopping on Etsy.
Yep. You get banned for every shop you're thinking of opening in the future, from buying. Etsy doesn't want anything to do with you, which is their right. So yeah, for everybody, triple check what you're selling, you can sell, because there's a lot of bad advice out there. I'm seeing tons more YouTube videos that are doing, stop clicking on them, people. I'm seeing tons of YouTube videos on how to resell on Etsy. And, these people are doing amazing. And it's like they are creating videos to get your shop shut down, to basically cost you money. So, yeah,
and it brings the whole marketplace down. Everybody who's in the chat right now, I'm not getting views, I'm not getting sales. Yeah, there's a seasonal aspect, but Pam just watched the investors report. I'm going to watch it tonight. 9 million sellers. Last month it was 7 million. Think about that. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, I'll really give you a sneak peek. I'm going to be talking about the investors report in half an hour, in about 45 minutes. But even Josh said there is too many sellers to buyers just now.
Yeah.
So that they don't mind getting rid of you if you're doing the wrong thing, basically.
Yeah. So make sure that you stick around after this stream ends, because Pam and Brian are going to be hopping on and discussing that. And I might talk about it on the Friday bean. I need to review it myself because I haven't even had a chance to look at it. So I'm good. If you're good to pick a name.
The next one. Yep.
And for everyone asking about the extension, we are going to be working on it in time, but right now we're limited on the browsers that it can be used on.
Yep, it's Chrome based. Oh, Jennifer M, congratulations.
Awesome.
If you can, I'll leave your confetti running for a little bit, but if you can type the name of your Etsy shop into chat and I will head off and find it.
And we'll pick, if you've got featured listings, that'll probably be what we aim for primarily, just because we assume that if you're featuring them, you probably like those the most. But if not, Pam will pick a good one. All right. Texas Craft Studio.
Awesome.
Crafts with an S.
Thank you.
Craft Studio. Let's see. I saw someone telling people to buy on Etsy, then resell. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, that's so. I mean, if the seller doesn't mind you reselling on another platform, or if it's maybe like, I can see some things where, you're buying supplies and using those supplies to make something else. If you buy your craft supplies on Etsy, that's a little different, but just buying stuff on Etsy to resell is, not to mention the seller probably, if they're not cool with it, that might tick them off too. There's like a lot of layers to that being wrong.
Yep. Do you want to go ahead and look at her whole shop? I've potentially got a reason for this. So
she said, I don't know where. Oh, I don't have any featured yet. So featured, you can do that from the back end of your shop where your listings are on the back end, and you have the ability to go through and put a star on those listings, and that will feature 4 listings at the top of your shop, which is a cool way to, your items that you're most proud of or that you think customers will like the most. But
yeah, it's a good way to make your shop look how you want it to look.
Okay, so we've got a hodgepodge here.
And I totally understand why and things. But yeah, that's why I wanted to pull up the whole shop, because it's a mistake.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a mistake that many of us make at the start when we're crafty. You do all the things.
yeah, so here's the thing. Jennifer, a lot of us, and I was the same way when I first started on Etsy. I had a wind chime made out of cow bones in my Etsy shop. I had a clay cat. I had hand-drawn artwork. I had sewn pillows. I had tattoo designs. But what I didn't have was a target audience, and I didn't have a cohesive style. We kind of try to replicate the things that we see that do well in flea markets, or little boutique stores where you can get a little bit of everything and it's stuff that you enjoy making. Etsy's a little bit hard because you've got to think how many people you're competing against. Now, the target audience that is going to buy the pride pin is going to be very different than the target audience that's going to buy the jewelry. None of the items here really tie to a specific type of person, or at least, I don't know. I guess they're kind of similar. Can you take a scroll down? Because the jewelry items all look very
I think the jewelry is vintage
okay.
and the pins and things are handmade. Like you say you do clay.
Yeah.
Pins and bookmarks seem to be clay, and this jewelry's vintage.
Yeah. I mean, you can make things like this work together. Um, but right now, nothing that I'm seeing is making me say, wow, this shop is for me, or wow, I can picture exactly the type of person who would buy here. Think about stores like, let's see, I lived in Texas for 6 years, or 6 years, 6 months. So I'm trying to think. You guys have Pottery Barn down there. Think about what it's like walking into a Pottery Barn, for example, or any little fancy mall store. You walk into one of those stores, and though they have a lot of different diverse items, you can definitely tell the type of home that those items are meant to be for. You can identify the type of target customer that is most likely to purchase those items, the type of home that those items would match. And our shops kind of have to follow the same, base concept. Now, do they have to? No, you can list whatever you want. But if you look at the most successful shops on Etsy, and if you look at the most successful businesses in the world that are actually high end, they all follow the same rule of having a defined niche, a defined target customer, a specific type of person. It's not stereotyping, and it isn't going to exclude people who don't fall into that ideal target customer. But it does allow you to really stand out to the type of person that you want to attract. So, my biggest piece of advice here would be to start with things, the obvious things. Get yourself a nice big banner up there. You can do that from the back end of your shop, in the shop customization, or you can click edit your shop. That'll be kind of on the left hand side. Actually, can you refresh? Her banner might just not be generating, because I do see a bit of space there.
Oh yeah.
There it is. Okay. That helps a little bit. Well, actually it doesn't, because that doesn't match anything that I'm seeing in your shop.
So you want me to do a survey? Sorry.
I wish I would
Go
do a
away.
survey request.
Well, I wish I would when I'm not on the live stream. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm getting a
absolutely
vibe.
agree. The banner is awesome if you're a painting shop.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'm seeing a lot of jewelry. I'm almost getting like an eclectic, um not quite hippie, but like kind of like an eclectic kind of boho kind of feel to your jewelry. I could see someone wearing your pieces to church or to work. I'm going to assume that you likely aren't appealing to teenagers. You've probably got, I dare say 35 to 65 would be just a ballpark age demographic here for your products, but potentially even past 65. These are all good clues as to how you can market your shop in the future, and how you could make sure that you're really appealing to the type of person who's most likely to buy these pieces. And it's always a good idea, if you do have craft store or craft fairs and um, boutiques and things like that, or uh, like vendors events in your area, to observe the types of people that shop in booths that are similar to yours, because you can learn a lot about things like that. But Pam, do you want to just maybe pick a random one?
Yeah, hard to do. What I'm going to pick, because the review I'm seeing from a sale was from a cat pin, so let's pick a cat pin. Because one thing that Etsy does tell us is if you've got one-of-a-kind items, it looks at how past listings in your shop and how past similar listings have done. So that in my head sort of set off saying, yeah, Etsy likes you to be a sort of an authority on certain subjects.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but if you had, like the person who bought your cat pin, if they're wearing it, or walking about the street wearing it, or the person who they gave it to, you're saying the style's boho and hippie, by the way, awesome. If they're walking about the street wearing it and one of their friends goes, where did you get that? And they go, oh, I got it from Texas Craft Studio, and they go there and they're seeing like vintage earrings and things, they're not seeing what they came there for. So you're struggling to get a repeat buyer. But so I would look at what you're doing the best with as well, to see like, because I think that cat brooch, that's a cool sort of unique thing that you're making.
But the only signal here that you're giving to Etsy is cat brooch. Can you highlight the title, or just in the listing itself?
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space here that you can get great keywords, because this is like, think of it like Blue's Clues, right? You're telling Etsy, you're leaving clues for Etsy to show you to different types of people. And if I wasn't specifically searching for a cat brooch, I might never see this. But what if I was looking for calico cat lover gifts? What if I was looking for a Mother's Day gift for cat moms? There's a lot of different keywords that you could get in here. Now you do have some in your tags.
Your tags aren't awful, actually, but more the color. You've put in the style boho and hippie, so can you say it's a boho cat brooch or something? If I'm terrible at styles, but Starla spotted all of that earlier. Yeah. Usually I'm telling people to cut down their titles, but I think you need a bit more title there, definitely.
And are they custom? Like you could say handmade, custom cat brooch designed in, your favorite breed of cat.
Yeah, I don't think this one is. Oh, it says can be personalized. Yeah, so absolutely, Etsy loves this. Make some more listings of personalized cat brooches.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy way to get more listings, to be able to experiment with more tags, and then with more keywords. And then every time you make something and sell it, then you can see, oh, this type of cat's really popular. So that's another type of listing I can make.
Yeah.
That's where I ended up with black cats in my shop. That it's because someone asked for a black cat, and then I thought, oh, I'll make a listing of that for a personalized black cat. And then Halloween happened, and I felt stupid for not realizing that a black cat would do well at Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, Jennifer, it just kind of feels like you're new, and that's everybody's new starting out. Everybody starts somewhere. So definitely dive into eRank, dive into the keyword tool some more, and grow out that title. I would recommend reading Etsy's Ultimate Guide to Search. Now, I did notice that you said, I meant, where does the reselling part come in? So vintage is different. If the item is 20 years or older, which, that sounds crazy thinking that Pokemon stuff is vintage. But if items are 20 years or older, then they do qualify to be sold on Etsy. I would just go to Google, type in Etsy vintage policy, should pop right up, and they will give you the details. However, you should still be very careful about things that are vintage. For example, like vintage Disney, vintage Pokemon, vintage, because by utilizing those keywords, your listings can still get flagged technically they fall within Etsy's handmade policy, and there's nothing that says that you can't list them, but shops get deactivated all the time for it. I just had a bunch that I reviewed, and it's just one of those kind of gray areas. So you just got to be careful. But your brooches and things, that should be fine.
Oh, they're handmade, definitely. There's no reselling there. We can see you make them. So
yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah, I'm just sitting here going, items that were made in 2004 can sell as vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel old.
Let's see. So I've got a lot of questions coming in. Guys, we do questions every other week. So we're going to try our best to focus on doing the shops, and but you don't have to submit your questions more than once. I do see a couple people. I assume you think you're, being skipped over. I promise you're not. I want to make sure that we're prioritizing getting everybody going. But do we want to give them another keyword, and then I can?
Yep.
Let's see.
So here's your keyword. I'm terrible.
Okay, let's see. While we're waiting on you guys to type in hashtag keywords, KBH Create asked, recently I listed a new item in 2 different styles, yarn holders, and turned on ads. Tags on the listings were very similar, but ad views were massive on one versus the other. Why? It might just be who Etsy is showing that listing to. Even if the listings are similar, ads have their own separate algorithm. There are a lot of behind the scenes factors that Etsy doesn't share with us. But I think that it's completely normal. And I have never advertised listings that all perform similarly. There's usually one that'll do well, one that might do okay, and then a bunch that don't do great at all.
Yeah, you have to bear in mind with any listing, even if you I've accidentally put up 2 very identical listings by mistake, but what's going to happen is they'll be shown at slightly different times. And if one of them just got lucky and at the time it was shown was by a person who liked it and clicked on it, then that item suddenly has a little bit of a better history with Etsy. It's just the way things work. Even if they're absolutely identical, they stop having identical metrics as soon as Etsy starts testing them. That's just how things work.
Yeah. All right. And then we've got one more question, and then I think we should be good to pull another shop. What's the difference between something being trademarked and something being inspired by? I guess I can put Shake It Off on something without getting sued by Taylor, right? Probably not. So trademark, that is the legal ownership of someone's intellectual property. And it doesn't necessarily need to have a licensed trademark for it to be trademarked. For example, I wrote a book. I can prove that I wrote that book. I do not have a paid trademark that, for that book. However, I know I wrote it and I can prove that I wrote it. And if I took you to court, while it would take a little bit longer for me to prove that I wrote it, I could still sue you for creating merchandise without my permission. When it comes to inspired by, fan art, yada, yada, if you can look at it and tie it to something that you don't own and that didn't come out of your brain, that includes celebrities, other brands, something, that maybe looks like, the Starbucks logo, movies, video games, books, song, anything that you can look at it. Harry Potter color schemes, for example, if you can look at it and say, this is clearly designed to attract people who like this song or this book or this movie or this video game or this celebrity or whatever it might be, you can likely be sued or, lose your shop over it, which is kind of the best case scenario over being sued. And I know that. on the legal side, parody is different. Technically, parody by law, at least in the United States, and satirical content, which it has to actually qualify as satire. So being made as, something humorous that pokes fun at a brand. Think South Park, for example, that would be satirical. That is technically in the United States okay. However, there's two things to remember. One, it's your lawyers against the lawyers of the big brand, and you have to be able to prove without a doubt that it is satirical content, which is expensive. Two, Etsy doesn't care if it's satirical or not. If they get a copyright complaint from the owner of that intellectual property, no second chances, bam, you're done. They used to have a 3 strikes you're out policy. I don't think that that's the case anymore. I think that they, like Pam said, there's too many sellers, and Etsy's just like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, I think they say, Etsy says in its articles, everyone makes mistakes. And if you have a mistake, they're likely to not come for you if you've just made a mistake. If you're selling tens of thousands of the item, you're probably in trouble. If your entire shop or a large chunk of your shop is trademark infringing, IP infringing, Etsy can't be bothered with dealing with you. You're too much hard work. You're out of there. But the simple rule of thumb is, are you doing it to make money off of the fans of that thing? If you are, then you don't have the permission from Taylor Swift or whoever created it, then you are in some kind of murky intellectual property water. Things like parody, fair use, and fair dealings are legal definitions and can only be decided in a court of law. So do you want to go to court with Taylor Swift or Disney or something else to find out if you're allowed to use what you're using? I would personally say, unless you know what you're doing, which most of us don't, or you're like Starla and you have permission from the people that you're using the things, and you're paying them royalties, most likely, they deserve to get their money, then don't be touching other people's stuff.
Yeah, that's something I always forget to mention, is that in my shop, I sell merch for some of the most popular fantasy books in the world, and we pay a commission out to every single author who we are licensed with, and we have to sign contracts, renew those contracts, every year. We have to follow very specific guidelines. We have to have very specific licensing agreements listed within our listings. And anybody who creates merchandise that doesn't have those details and that aren't in their legal system, in the author's legal system, they get taken down. So you have to be extremely careful. And what Brian said, college football teams, like that's another one I see all the time. He said, remember that if it's Taylor's lawyers will be there, not Taylor herself. So don't use it as an easy way to meet her. You got to think how big are Taylor Swift's lawyers, and can you afford a lawyer that's going to be able to fight Taylor Swift's lawyer? Probably not.
Let's draw our thing while we're ranting about this.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the time.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes. This will probably be our last shop, guys. But stick around, because after this stream ends, Pam will generate another one, and her and Brian are going to hang out.
Yeah, it'll be over on my channel, Pam Duffy. It won't be here.
Oh,
but
do you have an event page for that already?
I do, yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get that linked for them.
Oh, cheers. Julia, congratulations. I'm not going to try and say your second name because she's ahead of me already. All right, brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and pull up your shop. Let's get our big heads back up here.
All right, so I'll put, what time are you guys starting officially?
15 minutes after we finish here.
All right, starting.
That'd be 4:15 for you, is it? Yeah.
4:15 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah. There is the link. Oh, let me know if you guys can see that. I might need to switch to the eRank account. I probably do.
Wonderful YouTube.
Yeah, it doesn't let me leave comments. Okay. starting at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. So this is literally right after we stop here. You'll have a 15-minute potty break. But make sure that you go to Pam's channel, and her and Brian, they're going to talk about the investors report. These are things that we should all stay up on, every quarter. This is our first quarter investors report. And like I said, I think that I might cover it on the Friday Bean as well, just if I find enough to talk about for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's not as juicy as some of them. There's all sorts of interesting things, but not so much in this one. But I still think there's still some juicy hints and tips there.
All right. Laser hair removal. Oh, okay. It's templates. It's like, wow, you can sell that on.
Yes, you can't sell actual laser hair removal.
That's funny.
That is such an interesting thing for a template.
Love it though. Okay, so what kind of can I see the storefront real quick? I need the context. Okay. Craft your beauty empire. Template. Got it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So social media templates for salons and spas and things like that makes total sense now. I completely understand what you're selling.
Yes, very cool, very interesting. I've never seen that as a niche at all.
No, I love that. Did she have sales? Were there any sales?
Oh yeah. Yeah, 139. So you're not
too bad.
Doing too bad, yeah. I mean, obviously we always want more, but when you've started making sales, that makes it easier because you can dive in and look at what's working.
Yeah, Julia, do you have how long have you been selling these, out of curiosity? Let us know how long you've been in biz. Okay, now I got a better idea.
Yeah. Have you only been open for 3 months?
3 months?
I've only got 3 months of data there. Yeah. If that's the case, you have yourself a niche that seems to be working.
Yeah. For everybody, when we were talking about niches, and ideal target audiences, I completely understand who your audience is now. That's great. Love that.
Again, everyone's saying I sell digital, I can't have a video. And something like this, you can knock up a decent little video on Canva for free. So I'm not saying that's how this was created, but you can make videos of static images.
Yeah, well, I love this. Obviously getting, that many photos is challenging. You've got story templates, highlight covers.
Yeah, I love how cohesive all of this is and everything as well.
Yeah, no, this is great. 150 laser hair removal Instagram templates, esthetician templates. Laser technician, social media.
Yeah. Templates are so handy. And I mean, if you think whatever your shop is, whatever you're creating, if someone had 150 templates, all cohesive that you could use for social media, just drag and drop your own pictures or things into them, yeah, that would save so much time.
Now, created by EJF said, I may be mistaken, but I think Canva has been cracking down on using their logo in listing pics. Yeah, always be careful about using the official logos. I mean, I'm sure that you can say that it's a Canva template, but they might have restrictions on actually utilizing the logo.
It's actually the other way round. I only know it as I'm a Canva ambassador, and we're restricted to, we can only use their logo exactly how they tell us to. We're not allowed to change the color or anything like that. So I'm not sure how it is for normal people. But yes, check. That's another good point about anything that you're using. This is for use in Canva, but if you're people are doing SVGs for like cricket or things like that.
Mhm.
Look at the policies for the other companies that you're mentioning. Canva are more than happy for you to send people to them to edit templates and things, but you've got to make sure you're doing it the way they tell you to.
Yeah, a couple sellers said that you can't use it. That you can use the word, but you can't use the logo. So definitely be careful. You might just want to go in and I mean, if you did 150 laser hair removal Instagram Canva templates right on the front of that, top of that photo, you could probably kill the little circle Canva logo and be just fine and still get across the exact same message. Let's see. I'm looking at the tags. Everything. There's a little bit of repetition, but I mean, it's not.
Potentially things like assuming Canva's okay with you saying it, but saying Canva somewhere, title and tags, because I'm assuming people would also search for that. They would be
Yeah.
searching for Canva templates.
Yeah, you can use the word Canva, right? I mean, obviously double check their policies, but I think that actually stating that it's a Canva template, I know that when I'm, you know, looking for Canva templates online, I always specify specifically Canva because there's also Kittl and Adobe Express and, a lot of competitors to Canva now. So if I'm buying a template, I want to make sure that it's for Canva specifically because that's what I use as well. But
yeah, I think with something like this, because you've got so many other types of templates, you have your niche is in the beauty thing. I think if this listing isn't working, for listings that aren't working, I would use our AI listing helper to look up some different terms, ask the AI for some different terms. Because this is like beauty based things, is something that an AI probably has seen a lot of people talking about, basically. So it
yeah,
might have some good, interesting terms to use.
because
Definitely worth trying.
the word laser is in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the word salon, which is where I would probably go to get laser treatments done, isn't in here anywhere. Salon, spa. I would try to eliminate in your tags some of the uses of the word laser because you're going to broad match for those anyway. You don't need to exact match for all of these, especially the ones like laser post. You've also got laser social media and laser tech posts, so you're already going to match for that. I would get rid of a couple and try to get in some alternate terms for places where, aside from esthetician, just places where laser hair removal might be offered, because your ideal target customer, maybe they own a spa and they're just trying to see what their options are for what they could shop for.
Yeah, spa and everything as well. I'd probably also, I know these are Instagram templates, but also double down on the social media, where else? Because, anything like that can go on Pinterest as well, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
What the size is, where else it'll work.
Yeah, the story highlights are the only thing that you could only use for Instagram, but Facebook, Pinterest, Threads, there's plenty of other places you could post these.
Absolutely. But yeah, fascinating niche. Well
Great niche.
Discovered. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, it's 4:00 on the dot, guys. I don't want to keep Pam too long because I'm sure that she needs to run and get a drink and get geared up for her stream in 15 minutes. I'll post it in the chat one more time. Everybody rush over there, hang out with her and Brian. They're going to be talking about the Q1 Etsy Investors Report. I'm going to try to listen while I'm...
We've got graphs, guys.
Ooh, graphs. I don't know.
It's because myself and Brian were just sitting like sharing spreadsheets with everyone yesterday, and I was like, "You just come on my life." We're as nerdy as each other. So.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I'll try to listen to a little bit of it as well. But thanks so much for hanging out, guys. We appreciate you. For those who were asking questions, we kind of do the critique thing like every other week. So maybe next week we'll go back to answering any and all questions. Think of it like your little free coaching session. You can hang out with us and we'll ask anything that you have. But we appreciate you. And
join the Facebook group and you can ask your questions in advance and then we won't run out of time and forget them.
Yes, every Wednesday you can find a post pinned to the top of the group wall. Pam posts that religiously each week where you can put your questions in early. Then if you can't be here live, you'll know that your question gets answered first and you don't have to be here to submit it. So we'll make sure that we get it. But thanks so much for hanging out and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.